Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys my top 5 higher end makeup palettes that are neutral. So I decided to do this video because there are a ton of neutral eyeshadow palettes out there in the market, and it's just oversaturated with neutral palettes, I think. And I just narrowed it down to 5 palettes that I think everybody would enjoy, and they're a little bit different than your average neutral eyeshadow palette. And I'm going to kind of do points on each palette because they all are neutral palettes. So I'm not gonna continue to say, oh, this is a neutral palette, but I'm gonna show you like the differences in every palette. So again, I think neutral palettes are great for beginners. I think anybody who's starting to collect makeup or who has just began to do makeup will do better with neutral eyeshadows than trying to buy a bunch of colorful eyeshadows and trying those out, because colorful eyeshadows can be tricky, kind of trying to match them up or blending colorful eyeshadows. It's just a disaster waiting to happen if you want to start with bright eyeshadows. But with a neutral eyeshadow, you can kind of get it's a little more lenient. Let's just go ahead and get started. The first palette I have is the Naked One palette, and of course I had to put this in my video because this is like one of the first Naked palettes or neutral palettes that were out on the market, with 12 eyeshadows that are the same size, I believe, as a MAC eyeshadow. So if you want to know like comparison, these are just in a rectangular shape than a circle shape. So it comes with 12 eyeshadows, like I said, and I think this is one of the palettes that anybody should purchase because it is very unique in the sense that it comes with your daily neutral eyeshadows, and then it comes with these darker eyeshadows. So you can go from a day to night look very easily. It's all in one palette. It comes with a gray if you want to do kind of a gray gunmetal look. It comes with a black because, you know, you can do a smoky eye, or if you want to do like a brown smoky eye. It's a very easy divided palette to do kind of your work related eyeshadow looks, and then go over here and just add one of these darker eyeshadows and go out with the girls or go out on a date. It's very easy and it's very simple to have in one palette, and I like that for beginners because you kind of get both worlds in one palette. Next palette is the Naked 3 palette, and this one, I didn't buy the Naked 2 palette because I felt like it was too cool toned and it just had all light brown shades in it. Like it didn't have enough of a difference between eyeshadows in there for me to buy it for $54. I felt like you can buy any of those shades somewhere else and it would be just as fine. I didn't see anything different about that palette. But I bought the Naked 3, and I bought the Naked 3 first of all because it had this beautiful rose gold kind of theme throughout the whole palette. Like every eyeshadow in here, you can match them together and they just run together really nicely. And even this black shadow has kind of red glitters in it, and it's not very big glitters, so you don't have to worry about like glitter falling everywhere. So it's very finely milled glitter, but even that shade goes with every eyeshadow in here. It's just a very seamless, easy eyeshadow palette to have. And as you can see, this is very different than the Naked One. In the Naked One, like I was telling you, it has those darker shades so you can go day to night. This one right here is more of a day palette, but you can definitely go to night with these two palettes right here. I mean, these two eyeshadows right here. This one is just very nice in the sense that it has that rosy undertone, rosy kind of mauvey undertone to all the eyeshadows. So it's not your average brown, it's not your average taupe. It has that rosy kind of pinky purple undertone to it, so it gives you a lot of different options if you want to mix and match this with another palette, or if you want to wear it all on its own. The Nude Tube palette from The Balm, and it's $39. It comes with 12 eyeshadows. The eyeshadows are quite small compared to the Naked palette, so they're like half the size. It did come with this like little brush, but nothing to write home about. The palette itself is made out of the cardboard material, and it has a full mirror. The thing that I like about this palette, again, it's a neutral palette, but the thing that I like about this palette is that it has different like pops of color in here, and they're matte. Like this burgundy shade, you very rarely see a palette that comes with a burgundy shade. Even if it's a colorful palette, you very rarely see a burgundy shade in a makeup brand, and then it's matte. So I love that they have that shade. Then it has this dark, deep black eyeshadow that I reach for anytime I need a matte black. I don't even reach for my um, matte black anymore because this one is so black and it's so pigmented, and it doesn't come off as a gray. It's just very saturated with color. So I like this matte black. And then you get a dark brown matte color. So you don't have to always reach for a matte black if you want to darken up your crease. You can reach for that burgundy, or you can reach for the brown and just change any of these eyeshadows and make any look a little bit different than just your average, you know, neutral eye. Then you get this matte white color right here. It's really nice that it added a white, because none of the other palettes that I have up here has a white in it, and it's always nice to have a white just in case you do want to kind of brighten up your inner tear duct or under your brow bone, because sometimes you want to use a white and you can't find one anywhere. So I like the fact that they added that into this palette. So that's what I like about this palette. Again, the shadows are very smooth, they're very pigmented, and they have wide variety. Like they have your mattes, they have your satins, and then they have like your glittery ones. So it's a very nice overall nice palette. It's just a little bit more downplayed than the other palettes that I have. It's not so different, but it does have aspects in the palette that I think are right on, and I think are well worth the money, and I think are very different from just your average neutral eyeshadow palette. Next palette that I have is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and you guys know I just bought this one a couple of months ago, and I love it. I've been using it every day since. It comes with 16 eyeshadows, and it's $49. The thing about this palette is they have repackaged it because I guess people didn't like the chunky feel to it, so it's about half the size of this one. It comes with a mirror in the top, and like I said, it has 16 eyeshadows. It has these two larger eyeshadows, which Too Faced always incorporates some kind of larger eyeshadow for, like, if you want to use it as a lid color or a highlighting color. They give you more of that product because that's the eyeshadow that usually goes the fastest, so they give you a nice size of those shades. Then this palette is so unique, and I think a lot of people will enjoy this palette because, again, it has 16 shadows. They're not small, so you get a nice size amount of product in each pan. You come and you have this purpley blue shade that's shimmery, so you get a purple kind of light shimmery shade in here, which is different from any other neutral palette I've ever seen. You get this burgundy shade, which is a matte burgundy, which is very similar to the Nude Tube palette. You get this nice matte brown, which is again similar to the Nude Tube palette. You get this antique kind of green brown shade over here, which is very, very different and unique. Very rarely will you find a shade that has kind of an antique gold, green, olive green undertone to it. It's just a lot of different things going on in this palette, and if you like a neutral palette that has, you know, neutral shades, but then has a bunch of different textures and mattes and satins and glitters and different colors, then you would like this palette because it gives you a lot of options, and it's a billion looks you can do with this palette because it is so diverse and different, and it has pretty much everything you would need in any palette in this palette. So then the last palette that I have to show you guys is this Too Faced Romantic Eye palette. They have changed the packaging. This is old packaging. It is originally $36. And it comes with little cards, so if you don't know where to put the eyeshadows, like if you don't know what shades to put with what shades, they give you cards and give you directions on how to put the eyeshadows on. Then it comes with 9 eyeshadows. It comes with 3 bigger ones, just like I said, Too Faced usually does that in their palettes, and 6 smaller ones. The thing that I like about this palette is that it is not your average neutral eyeshadow palette because it has pinks and purples. You can still get a neutral look with this because it is like muted pinks and purples. It's not like magenta. It's not like bright metallic purples. It is a downplayed pink. It's downplayed purples. Like you have this mauvey light gray purple. You have this kind of charcoal grayish dark brown. You have this shimmery kind of whimsical pink, antique gold, and then this antique kind of brown color. So it's very neutral in the aspect that these shades are very, you know, neutralized. They're not bright. They're not magenta. You don't have a bright pink or anything like that in here, but they still give you some kind of color while being neutral. So I like this palette for that aspect. So those are my 5 neutral palettes that I wanted to show you guys. I hope you guys you know, took something out of this video, or, you know, really, I didn't want to do a like, oh, this palette is a neutral palette and I like it because it, you know, has this. I wanted to really show you the differences in why I like the palettes. I do have a bunch of neutral palettes and they are all neutral palettes. So why would you pick all these neutral palettes and they don't have a difference? They do have a difference and they do have their own purposes. Like the Naked One, if I'm going on a trip out of town and I want a neutral eyeshadow palette and I want to wear neutral eyeshadows, I still have the options from going to day to night. If I want to bring along a neutral eyeshadow palette but I don't want just your average browns, I have this palette that has all those rosy undertone, pinky purple undertone shadows in it. So I can bring the Naked 3. The Nude 2 palette, if I want to bring, like, okay, I want to bring my average nude eyeshadows, and then I'm like, later on in the week, I'm like, oh, I don't know, you know, I want some different colors. I can always pull out that burgundy or the white or the black and do a smoky eye versus just having browns in a palette. Then this Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette is so different. Like, you can get any possible look you can think about with this palette. It's just foolproof. It has your mattes, it has your glitters, it has your satins, it has purples, it has pinks, it has greens, it has all different colors, and you could just do pretty much anything with this palette. And then if you want to have something totally different but still have a downplayed eye and, you know, nothing too eye-catching or different, you can use this Too Faced Romantic Eye palette, because it is like a wedding whimsical kind of palette. So I like all these palettes for different reasons. I hope you guys took something out of this video. I hope you guys, I helped somebody figure out which palettes they would like to purchase or even look at, because like I said, this market has a bunch of naked neutral palettes out there that are just, you don't even know where to start because there's so many out there. So I hope this video helps some of you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.